Life as we once knew it has changed. It's busier than ever and it's fast paced. So when the opportunity presents itself to head away for a fish, there's nothing I'd rather do more than head out and explore the remote creeks and rivers of northern New South Wales. This is exploring the beyond. Doesn't matter how many times you go out in search of a new location, every single time the anticipation levels are super high, your excitement levels are through the roof, and you just absolutely can't wait to get there. Often it's a bit of a journey to get into these locations, whether it's a hard four-wheel drive track to get in there, or there's kilometres and kilometres of hiking to get in there. Once you reach that destination, you soon realise, looking around at the harsh, rugged terrain, that if I don't catch a fish on this trip, it doesn't really matter. Catching a fish is just a bonus. To be here in the Australian outdoors, looking at this phenomenal country that not many people have probably stood on before me, it's yeah, pretty cool feeling. Unfortunately, sometimes the fish just don't play the game. They don't realise the effort that you've put in to get to these locations. And when you do finally start to catch a few fish and you're standing there holding that fish in your hands, realising that only hours before I didn't even think these fish existed in these pools, it just makes you realise how remote and how hard these fish have had it over the years. Hundreds and hundreds of years of droughts, fires, floods, and what seems to us so remote and hard to get to, these fish live in it. This is their backyard. So yeah, it sort of gives you a bit of an appreciation for what these fish have been through for the last few hundred years. For me, the only way to make it that little bit more special is to catch a fish on a topwater lure. In particular, one that I handcraft myself, one of my own jalop lures. There's no better thrill. You make that big long cast, or it could be a short little pitch under a bush, and you're just watching that lure, full anticipation. You're zoomed into that lure and the surrounds, just waiting. When's it going to explode? And when you make that right cast and you give it the right amount of pauses or whatever it might be, and that fish decides to come and eat it, there is nothing better than seeing, whether it's a big bass or a big cod, come out of the water and blow your surface lure out of the water. It's absolutely spectacular.
The early morning hours always produce the goods. This bloke's sitting exactly where he should have been, tucked up, running water right in next to a rock. I only took about 2 swirls of the old jollop rat and it was gone.
On every trip there's that memorable fish. Now whether that fish was of trophy size or there wasn't many fish caught on that trip, and it was just a memorable fish because it made that trip all that worthwhile. These fish, we remember them for a very long time to come. As I said, whether it's a metre long cod or a 35 centimetre bass you caught on Topwater, they all have a meaning, and there's something you definitely don't forget.
We have worked and worked and worked for this fish. It has just been an absolute slog for this trip. But you know what, when you're fishing in pretty places like this, it just does not get any better. It's just after dark now, as you can see. We've got the torch on here, and this is by far the fish of the trip. And it eats my homemade rat yet again there. It just can't get any better, can it? This is what this stuff is all about.
Yep.
See you later, matey. Well, we've just climbed into the axe. The fish are starting to fire up a little bit. We've missed a few, and then this beautiful little Murray cod has come up. Talking with you, mate, how awesome the sky is. The stars are out. We just literally said, look, there's a saucepan up there, and this guy smashed it. Nature at its best.
I've caught plenty of Australian bass and Murray cod in my time, but to catch them in these areas, I don't know, it's hard to explain, I guess, until you've done it. It's just more rewarding, I think. Like it's good to have that location that you can visit time and time again and definitely catch some fish, but to visit a different location every time and you're constantly, what's around that next bend? Like, I don't know what's over there. Obviously years ago you'd have to walk up to see what was around that next bend. Now with new technologies we can stick up the drone and go, wow, there's a beautiful hole up there, let's make the effort to walk up there and see it. So for me it just all makes that adventure more worthwhile. It's not about the fish we catch, but it's the places that fishing takes us that makes it special. It's important when visiting these places, when we leave, the only things we leave behind are our footprints, and the only things that we leave with are the memories that will last us a lifetime. This has been Exploring the Beyond.